Howdy boys and girls, today's an exciting day for me. Somebody sent me a link that Mr. Richard the Dick Coughlan did a video on my video. Why, I feel like the belle of the ball. A prominent YouTube atheist like Mr. the Dick Coughlan. Talking about little old me. Let's see what he has to say.
Hello boys and girls, Richard the Dick Coughlan here. I know I said I was going to be doing a video response to Lee Doran. I'm working on it. I'll get round to it when I can. I'm very pressed for time at the moment. But I saw a video that I thought I could do a response to today while I'm working on other stuff. And I just had to bring this up because it was driving me. Okay, it's called Weak Atheism, I'll say, and it's by a user who, if I pronounced this right, is called Snakepliskinist. I haven't heard of him before, I don't know much about him. He claims to have 2 PhDs and be a member of Mensa.
Well, curiouser and curiouser. If you look closely at any of my videos, you'll notice I never actually say that I have 2 PhDs or that I'm a member of Mensa. But he got this somehow, so I have to assume that, I don't know, he's stalking me or something and looking at my comments. Well, I sometimes forget that YouTube is just one giant pissing match where everybody tries to demonstrate their intellectual and moral superiority. Now, I'm not getting down on that. That's cool. It's what it's for. And sometimes I forget that context. But that's not really what I'm interested in, so let me put it this way. When I said PhDs, that was short for pound head down. I just meant that I've been in fights, and twice I got my head pounded down. I wasn't talking about a doctorate. Gee whiz. And Mensa? No. See, I'm what you'd call a Latino, and mi gente say mesa instead of table. I said I was a member of Mesa. It's a little club. What we do is we make and polish tables. Actually, I didn't even finish middle school. I'm what you'd call a turnip farmer. Yeah. Embarrassing but true.
And he wears an eye patch in his videos. Now I don't know if there's a reason for that. It might, but he might only have one fucking eye if that's the case. I hope it wasn't an eye for an eye incident, because that would be ironic.
Well, yeah, there are a limited number of reasons why somebody would wear an eye patch. Maybe they have 2 fully functional eyes, but all that 3D vision just fucks with my head. Yeah, that could be it. Or maybe it's because the ladies find the whole Cyclops thing just real sexy, and that's why I do it. Or maybe I just like to keep my gummy bears warm, and so I put them right on my eye and keep them there with the patch, you know, so that they're nice and soft when I want to eat them. What are you, a fucking retard? By the way, having a facial deformity yourself, I would think you would be a bit more sympathetic to my plight. I'm just saying.
But he made this video called Weak Atheism, I'll say. It was a response to the Skeptical Heretic, who made a video response to Bionic Dance. Now, I realise that when people come, I'm always dubious of people who come on the internet and immediately have to brag about their intellectual achievements, about what they've done, where they, you know, their all the bits and pieces that they have done in their lives, and their qualifications, and particularly when they say they're a member of Mensa. With Snakepliskinist, I feel that you're not so much impressing me as giving me huge amounts of reason to be depressed about the state of the education system.
Well, if I remember correctly, I got on YouTube in April of last year. Now, can you demonstrate with any sort of evidence that I immediately said these things? I mean, first of all, none of my videos says anything about PhDs or this Mensa you speak of. And if I recall correctly, I've only ever mentioned it maybe 4 times the entire time I've been on YouTube, and certainly wasn't immediately after I got on YouTube. So, really, you're just kind of talking out of your ass here, but hey, you know, I'm getting up there in years, my memory's failing. If you could show me an instance of me coming right out the gate and trying to prove my intellectual superiority. Incidentally, the Mensa thing, it was this video where this guy was talking about how people with high IQs were creationists, and I only mentioned it not to impress him, but because I happen to know some people in Mensa, and not a single one of them is a creationist. In fact, any people that I do know in Mensa think of creation as a joke. But really, so what? So what if I bring these things up? See, I guess, again, this is my mistake, because I forget that it's a pissing match, that every single thing is a point of contention, where every single person is trying to prove that they're just the smartest, most morally upright person on YouTube. Now that I think about it, that is my bad. My apology, Internet. I should try to remember the context of the things I'm commenting on. So dumb. I am a turnip farmer, though. You know, we're not known for our brights.
All the bits and pieces that they have done in their lives and their qualifications, and particularly when they say they're a member of Mensa. With Snakepliskinist, I feel that you're not so much impressing me as giving me huge amounts of reason to be depressed about the state of the education system.
I'm not impressing you. Damn, my hopes and dreams remain largely unaffected. As for the educational system, now, like I said, I'm a member of MESA, the table club, but I went ahead and looked online, and this Mensa that you keep talking about, as it turns out, it's independent of the educational system. It's really determined by standardized tests that are administered in school, and then maybe an IQ test is administered at a later date to make a determination. But it's more a thing of intrinsic intelligence than what a person has learned. At least this is what I gleaned from the website. I don't know nothing about that Mensa stuff. But no, and you know, you seem to get really worked up over a lot of things. Now, we live in the 21st century, man. They make drugs for absolutely everything. I mean, we have Paxil, we have Zoloft, Seroquel. I mean, there are all sorts of things you could take that would really help with that depression. I'm just saying.
And I want to get, this is going to be a partial response to not just your video really, but the whole sort of notion of this weak and strong atheism, which just drives me up the fucking wall. Now, just to go quickly, just to summarise, the comment section, you're talking about the way atheists should be.
Well, see, here's a bit of irony for you. And again, this is my fault. I failed interpersonal communications twice. I mean, I didn't actually go to college. Forget I said that. But let me be a little bit more clear. I'm not saying how I think atheists ought to be. In fact, the whole point of my video was to say, hey guys, like Skeptical Heretic, the last thing we need is some self-appointed atheism police telling people how to manage their atheism. If you'll look at Skeptical Heretic's video, he's talking to Bionic Dance about how she's just ignorant, lumping the people together, blah 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 blah, and things that you just shouldn't do as an atheist. You see, because he was presenting that point as a way of policing atheists, I presented a counterpoint. Now, excuse me for not presenting both sides of the effing argument, but as I've said about 1,000,000 times, I'm lazy, and I kind of figured that, you know, people might be able to read between the lines or figure it out from the context. That was clearly a failure on my part to see that that wouldn't happen. But no, I'm arguing, hey, people want to do atheism their way. Just because they're atheists doesn't mean that you can tell them that they need to be reasonable and they need to conform to these moral rules and take the high ground and blah 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 blah. That's all I'm saying. Or that's all I was trying to say. I didn't say it very well, but I'm saying it now. Okay? Yeah. Now are we clear on that? Okay.
And creating the idea that as atheists we should be on the same sort of level as those we're trying to oppose. Forgetting, of course, that that would actually solve nothing.
Says you.
You see, this is the problem. You left a comment on Skeptical Heretic's video, Snakepliskinist, and it was very much... you said along the same lines. You said, better. Who said that I wanted to be better, bitch?
Oh, Mr. Coughlan, one of the reasons I like listening to your videos is because of your adorable little accent. It's pronounced biatch. It's supposed to be said, better? Who said I wanted to be better, biatch? That's how that's said. And to discuss that further, you talk about levels. Everybody talks about levels. As I mentioned, YouTube is just nothing but a pissing match with everybody showing, oh, I am the most moral, I am the most intelligent, blabbity blabbity. Look at the levels, and I'm on one of the high levels. People organize all of existence into these hierarchies when reality itself is a bit more organic. It's more of a continuum than something with levels. So when you're discussing these levels, they're mainly in your mind. Just so you know.
Is what you said. And then you went on to talk about how Christianity and Islam have, spread not through being, not through rational dialogue and through, they've done it through force, and, they've basically done it with the sword. And you didn't say that we should do that, but you did imply it heavily by stating that this is what they've done, and we want to spread atheism, and so who said I want to be better? You clearly don't have a problem with being as bad as those people who have used force and have, ruled with the sword. So then but you then said something really interesting. You said, as long as atheists aren't killing people, atheists, like we as atheists, are not killing people. I assume you mean in an organised way. As long as we're not killing people, and we're not starving, we're not denying food or, salvation to hungry people, unless they believe what we believe, then we are better than them.
Well, gee, if I said that, doesn't that kind of negate what you just said like 24 seconds earlier, that I strongly implied that we should be just as bad as the religious people? Little consistency here. I mean, I can't strongly imply that we should be as bad as the religious people in spreading atheism, and then, in the very same comment or series of comments, say that we shouldn't do that explicitly. See what I'm saying? One of us is insane, and I honestly don't know which one of us it is.
So you already acknowledge, so in your mind at this moment, because we are not doing this, we're not, killing people en masse, and we're not doing it, we're not starving people and denying them money and resources, because we're not doing that, we are at this moment better than them.
Actually, no, that's not what's going on in my mind. I was just kind of throwing a bone to Skeptical Heretic and his motivations for moral superiority or whatever. Like I said, my mind doesn't really organize things into these hierarchical structures of I'm better than these people, etc., etc., etc. I try to look at things from more of a practical standpoint. And, that was the whole purpose of my video, really. Think about this. Religious people, they have their moderates and they have their extremes. And their moderates, they don't really tell the extreme people not to be extreme. No, the moderates support the extremes. They have a cohesive unity, and that is a great strength. Where if we have self-appointed atheist police telling atheists how to be atheists, like Skeptical Heretic is doing to Bionic Dance, well then we don't have that kind of unity, do we? See? So as a matter of practicality, if we want to have the same sort of strength as religion has, then we should have the same sort of acceptance of each other that religion has. At least acceptance of each other provisionally to work against a common foe. Does this make sense?
But in your mind, there's nothing wrong with us lowering ourselves. So my question is, Snakepliskinist, are you willing to kill people and deprive starving people of food if it helps promote atheism?
That's a funny question, because I'm not even willing to get off my couch to help promote atheism. I am a lazy bastard. Maybe that's why, when I see somebody with a lot of energy going after Christians, trying to promote atheism, I'm like, well, thank God somebody is. Thank God. That's kind of funny. Thank God somebody's promoting atheism, because I'm sure too fucking lazy, right? No, I wouldn't do any of that stuff to help promote atheism. I mean, I don't want to really get into it, but our dismal species is circling the drain. I don't like religion, but it's not as if getting rid of religion will solve the majority of the world's problems, and in fact, a lot of the problems of the world are kind of too far progressed to solve easily anyway, so yeah, I'm not willing to do anything like that to help promote atheism. But, if people want to spend their time promoting atheism, wiping out religion, I think it's a worthwhile cause. It won't stop climate change from making all of the arable land on the planet into deserts. It won't stop our massive overpopulation problem, since by the best estimates we've already overshot sustainability. There's a lot of terrible things in the world that need to be addressed, and it's just, if people want to take their time and actually do something, I'm not going to go, no, you can't do it, morals, we gotta be better, see, there's levels, and we gotta be on the high level, while the Christians, we'll let them stay on the low level, but it's the levels that are important. Seriously, man, listen to yourself, levels?
You see, I look at the world and think, I like to make the world a better place, right, in whatever means I can, okay? And better does not necessarily mean non-religious or atheistic. It means better. Okay?
Oh, yes, better, yes, terribly interesting. Better place, the world. Totally on board with that. Now, what were you saying?
Because you're an atheist, and I'm an atheist, and I don't really like you. And there are Christians on here, and Muslims, and other people who I do like. And I would consider them to be people who I like more than you, and therefore better people than you in that aspect.
Is it because I'm not pretty? You shallow twat.
Right, not that my opinion is any better than necessarily anyone else's, but so you being an atheist means nothing, right? And what you want to do is you just don't care whether the world is better, because everything that religious people do is bad. You've stated you're willing to do, or that we should consider doing. So you just want to swap the fucking names around. You might as well just call yourself a Christian and join up, because you're not interested in rationality. You've just said you're not interested in civility. You're anti-civilization. You've just said all this. And this weak and strong atheism used to describe basically the attitude of the atheist himself. Like, if you were a strong atheist, it was like you knew there was no God, you believed there was no God, and you would go out and and be forceful with it. And weak atheists, also didn't believe in God, but they didn't really push it as much. They weren't they didn't really give it as big they weren't as gung-ho with it, right?
Wow, I had that totally wrong. See, I thought weak atheism just meant like you're an atheist who can't bench press your own weight, where a strong atheist could bench press more than their own weight. But I wouldn't read too much into the title of my video, Weak Atheism, I'll say. It's just one of those little things us turnip farmers like to do, a little play on words. The thing is, I'm not very good at titling my videos. If you look at some of my other videos, you'll realize this. I just don't know what to call them. So I'll just put down the first thing that comes into my mind. And I'm going to cut this video short here. There's some more points that you make, and don't take this as a reflection on the rest of your video. Just understand that A, I'm lazy, and B, I have the charisma of a tree stump, and this video is already getting to be 20-some minutes long, and I have no doubt that the people watching it are going to lose interest by now. Not because of you, because of me. I don't have a great camera personality. But, in closing, you say a lot of things about weak atheism, strong atheism, how I'm trying to put weak atheists in a box and disparage them. You have to understand, Mr. Coughlan, you're filled with feelings, and really there's nothing wrong with that. It's a great way to be. It's great for having artistic style. It makes you fun to listen to. But you have to understand, to look outside of your own perspective, understand that I'm not just filled to the brim with feelings the way you apparently are. So I sometimes forget the emotional impact that words can have on people. And this would be one of those cases where, weak atheism. I'm not trying to disparage anybody. I'm just trying to come up with a snappy 2 or 3 word title for my video. No big whoop. Well, if I work up the energy, I might come back and respond to the rest of this video. But Mr. Coughlan, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to respond to little old me.